Your mind can play tricks on you. You experience the world through your senses, right? But not everything that you sense is always accurate, and your mind can always be tricked. There are many videos on YouTube and many experiments that just prove this, right? For example, the one with a fake hand, right? There's this experiment where someone puts just say a block of cardboard or whatever, so you're not able to see your left arm. And in front of you, you have a plastic left arm for you to see. And you have your right arm next to the plastic one, and your left one is out of sight, out of mind. Using a brush, I don't have right now, using a brush experiment, they basically just brush it against your hand, this one and the fake one at the same time, and you get this sense that you're feeling the brush on your left hand when in reality you aren't. But because you're seeing it, you think you're feeling that. And later on through the experiment, there is a knife that basically just comes and just breaks, or a hammer or whatever, a plastic hand. And in that experiment, the person flinches and takes out their left hand. But they knew all along that it was a fake one right there. But because of the experiment, they thought like they had a feeling that it was there, so it was going to be in danger. But in reality, their hand was perfectly fine, and it was not in danger at all. What I'm trying to say here is that your senses aren't always reliable. Even your own mind is not a reliable source of information or of just remembering memories in general or events. You yourself, your mind and your senses aren't always a reliable source. Everyone experiences the world differently, right? And we all, well, not all, but most of us are lucky enough to experience the world through our 5-6 senses, you know? I always thought about this in like a cosmic way. Like, well, if we remove all of our senses, then what is life? What is reality? What is our existence? And what is consciousness? Because if you're born and and you don't have any of the 5 senses, then how do you even experience the world? Do you experience the world? If you cannot see, if you cannot smell, if you cannot speak, if you cannot touch, if you cannot sense, etc. But what I'm trying to say is your mind is easy to trick, okay? We see this all the times with different things and topics and experiments and whatever. Even literally you, when you're trying to remember things over time, your memory kind of gets messed up, and that's why you don't remember things correctly. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you know that. But of course, there's like a whole process when it comes to remembering things and how it works with your brain. Obviously, it happens during sleep, and that's when we go to the sleep cycles and blah blah blah, REM sleep, deep sleep, and all that. And funny enough, there's this thing where how we feel that things were always better in the past, when in reality they never really were. It's because our memories kind of get damaged as we grow up, and we only kind of remember the highlights of what the things that happened. And that's why we think like, oh yeah, it was a great time, yeah, but in reality it just wasn't. It was just as normal as it is right now. So yeah, there's that little fun fact. Where am I going with this? I just want to literally just remind myself that intuition and doing the things that I believe, not the things that I remember, is more important. Because even today, it all started with it's so silly how all this started. I had a test today, a physics test, and I was so worried about it for the last days. I lost sleep, okay? I lost sleep, and when you lose sleep, you remember it's gonna get fussed up. But I studied a lot for one day, because I studied the day before, because I would not insult myself. But I should have studied earlier. Anyways, yeah. So one of the exercises that I was solving today, I had 2 things. I had this little tiny dilemma that I had to make to make a decision in a nanosecond. It was between writing what I remember or writing what I believe. And I went with what I remember. And I kind of regret that because it turns out what I believed was right, not what I remembered. So, it's this tiny little moment, but it just reminds of how in that moment I just thought, am I gonna answer the way I think someone wants me to answer? And I chose yes this time. Because so many times, also now with tests and essays and whatever, especially like during academia and all that, I've always felt like when I write, I don't write what I believe or what I truly think. I'm writing for my professor, not for myself, And I did that again, and I shouldn't have. I should have just written what I believed. Big part of science and physics is just writing your own observations and your own conclusions and what you believe, yeah, that's my fault. Because I didn't follow what I believed, I tried to follow my head. I'm like, okay, yeah, I remember this thing. It kind of, oh wait, never mind. These things are not intertwined. My bad. I made a mistake. But it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. It's whatever. It's fine. It happens. But it just goes back to our intuition and our mind and our heart. It's that whole thing where people say, follow your mind, follow your heart. I feel like following your heart is better than actually following your mind. I mean, hear me out. Obviously, there's logic to most things in life, right? And personally, trust me, I'm a scientific type girl. I use logic in everything, in every way I can. But like when the things that actually matter to you, you need to go inward and not think so logical. Because even logic is flawed, Because like even our whole experience, we experience things in a logical manner. Even that experiment, right? Like with the hands. It wasn't logical for that person to flinch. It wasn't their real hand. But they did. Why? Because we're emotional type people. We're animals, okay? And when we see distress, we flinch. When we see that we're in danger, we do something about it. We try to run, we try to protect ourselves in any way we can. And also, I don't know why, but I just want to talk about intuition. Because even before the test, I was like, this too, I have a feeling it's going to be a test. I have a feeling, Like, I don't know why, but I just have this, like, feeling when something's about to happen, or, like, someone's going to say something, or I just get these feelings, these intuitions of, like, I need to talk to that person. I need to check up on this person. I need to go to this place right now. Have a feeling that this is gonna be in. I have the feeling that like intuition. It could also be logic behind my intuition, but it's like this undescribable feeling that I don't always follow. My intuition, and I just kind of wish I would follow my intuition and my voice and myself more. Instead of following my head, because even my head, even my thoughts, most of my thoughts aren't even my thoughts. They're like thoughts that from other people or that I've adopted in mine, right? There are things that people have told me that I've adopted into my thoughts and subconscious. That's not me. That's everyone around me without even realizing it. But of course, that's just human language and speech and everything, communication. What is communication if not just a remix of everything that we've heard and experienced throughout our lives, right? What is language if not just words that we've heard and put in a different order, or the same order that we've heard someone else put them, right? But yeah, I guess the thing that I want to learn today, and what I learned today, is to actually listen to myself, to actually follow my intuition, to live for myself again. It always goes back to the basics. It always feels like I'm learning the same things, but in a whole different way. Listening to myself. Trusting myself. Following my intuition more. Resting more. Making better decisions for sure. But it's something else. But yeah, this is the topic for today. Is I want to follow my intuition more. And yeah, about the topic of our thoughts and everything. Like, it's actually kind of sad. Because like, sometimes I even say things I don't really mean just because, like, it's what I always hear from other people, right? So I'm like, oh, no. But I don't even truly believe that deep down. And I have videos saying quite the opposite thing. Like, for example, like careers and money and stuff, right? Like, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna, go into this certain field. I'm like, you're gonna be broke. Like, what? No. But that's what everyone else says. Even though in reality that's not even true. But because you're so used to in that certain space to hear this certain thing, it kind of gets into your mind. So when someone responds to something similar, you're trying to emulate that to be more normal and to make your life easier because you don't want to have a big conversation about simple things and make their life and your life hard. So you just copy paste what everyone else is saying, which isn't always right. But yeah, sometimes I do that, but like I rush into things and I just say whatever everyone else is saying. Or like I rush on like the easiest, quickest, shortest way to say something because I don't want to get into it and say 20 sentences about what I truly believe, because that's like I need a lot of sentences to actually say what I truly believe. It's easier to just say a random sentence that's really reinforcing dumb things, like even like stereotypes, or stereotypes, or like it's stereotypes, but like obviously change starts within us and change starts with us. So obviously I and everyone else has to correct their behavior. We have to be careful with the words that we're choosing and be careful with the way that we're communicating, because that is where culture starts. That is where the backbone of our society is built on. It's in our connections and our communications. And if we cannot do that properly, then what kind of civilized society are we going to build? Is it even going to be civilized? It really is. It isn't. If we just keep communicating like barbarians or 12-year-olds at such age that I am, then what kind of future are we building for ourselves, the next generations, and our society as a whole? Well, that got deep really fast. Well, yeah. So, 2 or 3 things. 1, following intuition more. 2, actually see what I truly mean and not try to sum it up or, try to be short, say something short and fast so I can, don't have to talk to someone for a long time. It's kind of funny. But it's like, having actual conversation with people has been changed. But anyways, I don't have a lot of space on my phone anymore, so I only have like 30 seconds, so I would have talked more, but this is it for today. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Comment down below to let me know that you exist, that someone's actually listening to me. What on earth? That is so cool. Okay, thank you. Love you. Hope I see you tomorrow.